My name is Tarek. Welcome to our YouTube channel.
Stuart Holden is a retired professional football player who works as a TV analyst for Fox Sports and Turner Sports. He's also part of the ownership group of RCD Mallorca, who is a Spanish football team who plays in the Segunda Division, the second division. In his professional football career, he played the position of midfielder. He represented Team USA at both the youth level and the men's level, playing at the 2008 Summer Olympics, the 2010 FIFA World Cup. In total, he had 25 appearances in the men's team for Team USA, scoring 3 goals. Sadly, over his career, it was injury that forced him to retire and often held him back at many of the clubs that he played for. In college, he played for the Clemson Tigers in Division 1. As a professional, he played initially for Sunderland in the Championship, which was the division below the Premier League, what used to be called the First Division. He came back to the USA and played in MLS, where he played for the Houston Dynamos. He was, I think it was Dynamos. In the EPL, English Premier League, he played for Bolton Wanderers. He later on played for Sheffield Wednesday, again in the Championship. But before his professional football soccer career, he was someone who was a Counter-Strike player at a professional level. At the age of around 10, he moved from his native Scotland to the United States, and unfortunately, when he was in high school, knee surgery kept him from being able to play football for a period of time, and he began to play Counter-Strike along with his brother. Now, in playing Counter-Strike, obviously this was back in Counter-Strike version 1.6, and before then, he played for numerous Cal Invite, which was the top online American league, Cal Invite level teams like Weekend Warriors, featuring legendary players like Method and Bombs. He played for a team called Pinnacle, who were a bit lower level. He played for Riot Squad, who are always one of the top Cal Invite teams, played at numerous CPLs. Now, his most notable LAN performances came playing for a team called Forsaken, the team of the infamous David Funk. Also at one point in time, due to sponsorship, called Team Netzone. When they were called Netzone, one of his best accomplishments was going to the USA qualifier for the World Cyber Games, which is basically the Olympics of esports. And at this USA qualifier, his Netzone team managed to finish second behind Team 3D. Sadly, only the first place team went to the grand finals that year. It was in South Korea, but he'd placed ahead of numerous other top North American teams. The next year, his Forsaken team managed to place 8th at the CPL Summer event, which was one of the majors and was actually the most stacked CPL tournament in terms of prize money in history at that point in time. First place was like $60,000. His team finishing 8th was still a legit result. Finishing top 8 was considered a quality result. He finished ahead of numerous European teams. Most notably, his team beat out Tech and also Zex, and these were 2 of the top North American teams. Tech had actually beaten Team 3D for the first time on LAN at Killer LAN and came in as one of the heavy favourites for a top 5, top 3 placing. Zex had just finished second at ESWC, the first ever ESWC, one of the majors in Counter-Strike. So to 8th place, very respectable performance. Later in his career, later that year, he had to take time off to go back to playing for Clemson, and he had a brief comeback the following year with Forsaken, but his career ended as he transitioned into being a professional football player. You can actually see some clips of him as a player in the famous frag movie Adrenaline 2, around 3 minutes and 26 seconds for about 20 seconds worth of footage. Sadly, when he became a men's professional level football soccer player, both representing Team USA and playing in the English Premier League, you'd hope that he would be out there preaching sort of the gospel of esports. Like, hey, I used to be an esports player, you know, it was very competitive, like in football now, and we had different divisions and real tournaments, and we used to practice. Unfortunately, the reason I say sadly, that wasn't actually the approach he took at all. In fact, in an interview in 2011 with a website called Soccer AM, he actually said, when I first started playing football professionally, it all started to come out, referring to his esports past. And I was a bit ashamed of it. I tried to hide it, but eventually I just started to embrace it. There's nothing I can do. I've deleted it off my Wikipedia page about 4 or 5 times, and someone just keeps putting it back up there. Now, as he said, eventually he had to embrace it, even if some of his English teammates gave him some stick. There was also a tweet, which is now deleted, I notice, from last year, 2017, where he quoted, when the Overwatch League was going to start, the news that the Overwatch League minimum salary was $50,000 per player a year, and that the MLS top North American Football League minimum salary was only $53,000 a year. He quoted that tweet and he said, "Esports on the rise, might have to come out of my pro gaming retirement," and then tagged in people like MLG. So in the end, seemingly he came to terms with it. But for someone who, he wasn't one of the greatest Counter-Strike players, he was just a good North American player. It's a shame that he didn't kind of like take esports with him when he was at the top, when he was in the spotlight, both for Team USA and for teams in the English Premier League and Championship. This video was kindly supported by Dean Tanglis, Gardner Wilson, Andreas Snazore Westerlund, Alex Adams, Eddie Wingfors, Daniel Yordanov, Robert Baxter, Travis Greb, Kyla Harris, James Harding, Cesar, and special thanks go out to Matt Shakowski and Jerky's Minion in particular. Want teasers for my upcoming content? How about asking me a question for my monthly AMA? Do you want to take part in a discussion about esports with me? How about suggesting a topic or a guest for my content? Put your money where your mouth is and join the Scrilluminati today.